This is for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast. With over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 5+ years in the games media combined, I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services including Spotify, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you want to join this PlayStation conversation, head on over to our Facebook, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, or the links in the description below.
If you want to join that PlayStation conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist and come and watch us record the show live. It's damn good fun. We get to have a bit of a chat as we go. It's all good. But if you want to share that PlayStation conversation, head over to your podcast service of choice. Be sure to give it a 5-star rating or whatever you think it may be worth. Like, that's a good quality 3.5 stars right there. Or maybe a little written review, or tell your friends to come check us out on the YouTubes, on the podcast services. It's all available to consume by all the peeps. If you want to support us in a more financial sense, head over to patreon.com/thepopculture. You can support us a ton of dollar values. It's literally whatever you want. There is no rewards. It's just what you feel like is good for you. If you want to support us in on your body, popculture.com/shopping, buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. The store is currently on sale. It's like 35% off for this week. Still got to order yours. However, the Australian dollar right now is anus. It's about $1.50.
It's the worst it's been since the global financial crisis.
Fucked. So maybe you shouldn't buy a shirt this week. We would love you to. And it's really just not the good bestest time. It's so crap.
It
right
is
now.
because I got an email from a Kickstarter that I backed.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Hey, we've reopened the pledge manager in case you want to order like expansions." And then I looked at our dollar do and went, "I can't afford any of these."
Well, I had the same thing because I've been wanting to buy more wrestling shirts because I've had the same ones for a while. Maybe get some more in the rotation. Like, no.
Yeah, see, if it was in USD, it'd be fine, but it's in Great British pounds, and our dollar's even worse.
It's even worse for the pound. No.
So it was going to cost me like $150 for the expansion. I'm like, I can't afford that.
Wow.
I'm good. I'll just wait. Hopefully the backing stays open for a while and our dollar can like bounce back.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I don't know what's gonna. Maybe that's the problem. Is because we've all been reluctant when it was like $1.30, and then it's made it worse. So maybe we have to. Maybe you need to buy shirts from us in order to reinvigorate the dollar.
Yeah, but it's not gonna help our economy by buying American. Like,
maybe I should make an Australian store instead. But I like the freedom of our store. I can just put our logos on fucking anything.
Yeah,
it's really good. How you been, dude?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, it's great. What's happening?
It's been a super cruisy week.
Yeah.
Well, for me especially, one day it was Monday, the next it was Friday. I'm like, whoa, where did my week go? It was good.
Did you work this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, then how'd it go?
Don't think I did, but like I was definitely there. I've been so tired all week. I've been like, I just go into autopilot mode at work and then I'm just done. And I have one of those jobs that once I'm out the door, I just do not think about it. I could give zero. It's the one thing I love about my job.
Yeah,
it doesn't require me to think about it when I'm not there.
That's not been the case for me this week. So this week has been the big audit. So the NDIS came and did their yearly check on everything that the company does, and we just happened to get the short end of this brush, and they came and checked us out. So because we're a new department, there was a lot of pressure, and so in terms of how we run our sessions, it's never a problem. Like, we nail it in that sense.
Yeah.
But it's all the back end stuff that's the problem. And the problem is the back end is my role.
Yeah.
So like my colleague, he's more of the daily. So he does I handle the daily running and the admin stuff. He's more of the big picture shit. So from big picture stuff, he's like, it's nailed it. Like, my part's done. How's your part? I'm like, I have so much work to do.
So is it because is this something you should have been doing like every week leading up to this, or is it something
yes.
that you
However, the problem is because we're a new department, there's been so much chaos is the wrong word, but just different things. Like
Yeah.
you won't need to do that because we're going to do it this way. You don't need that because you're going to do this way. You take this, but don't take that. And then at the end, it's been like, oh no, we've really told you roll the wrong things. You need to have all of this. Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. So next time, if this was to happen again, next time it won't be so horrible.
Oh, not even a little bit. Not
All
even
right,
a little
cool.
bit.
Well, that's good news.
Well, that's positive, yeah, because if we do get done again next year, then it's all right, cool. So apparently we passed, which is brilliant. So I did a good job.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, man, you should have, like, I was so anxious.
Yeah.
But, like, the night before, because that's why I didn't stream on the first
Yeah, because I messaged you Thursday night. I'm like, hey, man, what's the stream? And you're like, dude. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I get you.
yeah. It was Thursday was rough because it was just kind of like right on that line. I was like, and then so I couldn't. I simply James is breaking in. I simply couldn't do it. I was not in a place. Hey bud, you're not wearing pants. You can't be on camera.
Neck minute.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like, no, I can't because I was just freaking out. All right, can you go back? Can you go see what Mummy's doing, please? Thanks, buddy. Because we're doing a show. I know it's a tradition for you to break in, but yeah, you can go watch Spooky with Mummy. But anyway, yeah, it was pretty horrifying, and I was having a shit time. So I was like, nah, can't stream. Simple as that. Didn't tell anyone just because I was like, no, fuck, I'm out. I'm done. So then, yeah, the Friday it all went down. I had a horrible morning, just internally, because it's that weird thing. Because I already have like an anxiety disorder, and then I add things on it to make it worse, like doing shit like this. It makes it very tough. But once it all started going well, I was able to de-stress a little bit.
So what have you been using for stress relief this week?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's been
You've
pushing through.
You've been swimming in it.
Yeah, it's been pushing through.
That's not healthy.
No, because the problem with how my head works is once it's grabbed, it ain't letting go. So I will think about it. I'll be anxious about it. I'll feel like my chest is going to explode for the whole time. But until it's resolved, it won't go away.
Yeah.
So like there are some times where like that sort of almost
you have to finish what you start.
almost paranoia around it won't go away.
Yeah.
So I've got to kind of like see it through or push through it, which is really, really inconvenient when there's something that gets you anxious that is entirely out of your control. Yeah, that's like, oh no, I know. It just kind of gets you. Yeah. But yeah, no, thankfully it all got nicely resolved, so it wasn't too bad. And yeah, we it looks like we've come out clean. Hey, Dickie Nee, can you go see Mum? Can you get Mum, please? Yeah. I love you, but I need you to leave the room, please, because you break in way too often. All right, good, Mum.
It's almost like you need a child lock on the door.
Yeah, we do need. I think we need a latch on the door, and then he'll just start kicking the door. It'll go either way. Either he'll let me in, or I'm gonna kick the door down because he's got two options. Buddy, go to Mum, please. And the problem is, it makes me look such a prick. Like every video, every pod, I'm like, get out.
He's also
get out.
He's also super defiant. He's like he knows people listening. He's like, I'm going to show everyone that you just have no power.
You are a
over me.
horrible father. Let me demonstrate on the internet how shit you are. A, you can't control me, and two, you look like a butt because you just keep wanting to kick me out.
And then he leaves and doesn't close the door.
Yeah, then he leaves the door wide ass open, and then prove his point. But I've not done anything to de-stress this week. Like I didn't really play games that often. I think I played a little bit of Grand Theft Auto. Oh no, I totally have played games this week. I finally got credits on Doom.
Oh, that's right. And then I sent you
you didn't play it in the entire bet, so I win by proxy. Sorry, by default, not proxy. Yeah, so I finally got the credits on Doom. That game's brilliant, which I already knew, but it's just so good.
Nice.
It brings into because the main topic of today is gameplay versus storytelling. I don't know if fucking happened in Doom. Gameplay is dope though. Because I literally just jam podcast and I played it, but we'll get to that because there's a little bit later. But yeah, so I got that. Tried a little bit more Patapon. I was like, ugh, fuck. It's a little bit more Dreams, a little bit more Kakarot, but like just the little sprinkles. Mostly just because my brain was really elsewhere this week.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even do a Raw show this week for Young and the Wrestlers. It's just, no. This week was too brutal on my head. But how was your week? I mean, what did you play?
So I Played some more GTA, did some more heists. I dove back into Kakarot for a bit. So I'm a little bit further in the Android saga. So close to that Cell saga, and that's when I'm getting keen for that. Dove back into Dreams a bit more. Did a few of the moving parts tutorials. So I can now do some wiring, make some fans, do all that.
So then you've gone further than I have. So I did a lot of like the positioning stuff, like a lot of the art space, I guess. So now I can mess with my own art space.
Yeah. So that was surprisingly pretty intuitive. You kind of just attach the thing to what you want to move, and then you tell it that when this is on, just spin.
Yeah,
and then it does it. Like it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, like there's a little bit of like multi-button stuff.
Yeah,
like you get a little bit complicated with like having to hold X amount of buttons.
Having to remember all the hotkeys can sometimes be quite trying, but in most cases I've found so far it's pretty like it's pretty easy to do once you've done it a few times. What else have I been playing? GTA, yeah, that. Dove back into Final Fantasy Online, much to my wife's annoyance. One of my friends hooked me up with some free game time, and
so you bought more.
Like sucked in now, super sucked in.
For those who don't know, like this is Max's greatest weakness is Final Fantasy Online.
I think I've put in over 2,000 hours on Steam. Shit. Like this is the game that I'm married to. This isn't my play once and put away. This is the game that I constantly go back to. I've been playing it
forever love.
Been playing it for like 4.5 years on and off. So I've been on break from it for about 2.5 months because I had a kid, and I'm like, I don't have time to play this game anymore, especially when I have to pay for it every month. And then someone's like, here's some game time, man. I'm like, ooh, I'm back. I'm back, baby. So new content, so it was a nice time to jump back in.
You also picked up Hunt Showdown?
Yeah, so I picked up Hunt the Showdown. So it's one of those solo, duo, trio games, and it's set in Louisiana, very old school. So you're in like a bayou, like a swamp. Super fun. I haven't played with any friends yet. I've just played solo. So you basically it's a shooter. You go in and you have to find clues to hunt the beasts. And you go in, once you kill the beasts, it announces to everyone else on the server, so it's 12-player servers, that you've killed it. And then they'll all come and try and kill you to take all the loot. And you've basically got to loot the bosses once you've killed them, and then extract and get out with all your stuff. Because if you die, you lose all your stuff.
Oh, shit.
So it's pretty intense. You got that risk reward of you've got to go for the boss, but everyone else is also fighting the same boss. So you got to work. It's that
at the same location.
Yeah.
Oh shit! So it'd be really handy to have 12 bodies working on it.
So you can scan the area. So if no one else is around it, it'll show up blue, like it's safe. There are no other hunters there. But if it's red, you know there's going to be at least a hunter there. So not only do you have to deal with the boss killing you, you've got to deal with the other players trying to kill you to stop you from getting what they want. Not to mention that it also takes 30 seconds to extract once you're at a safe point. So you got to stand there and like final stand it and hope no one else kills you. It's rough.
Fun though?
Yeah, so I've only played it solo, so I look forward to playing it in a group because I kept getting jacked by fools constantly. But it's fun. And Oceanic servers, which is even better.
Yeah, rad.
Yeah. I mean, you do have to select a secondary server just in case there's no one playing. So there's been a few times where I've played on European servers, but most of the time
that's really weird. There's no one else in the Australian region that's playing that game.
I mean, granted, I did play it at 3 o'clock this morning. So
okay, yeah, like that's not positive. That's really not positive.
Pretty shitty time. I played this way back a couple of years ago when they were doing beta stuff on PC. I loved it then, and then I'm like, oh, I remembered because obviously we read it on the drop last week. I'm like, pretty sure that comes out like today. So I had a $70 PSN gift card sitting there. I'm like, yep, I'm getting this.
Nice.
So yeah, it's good fun.
One thing I have been doing though is when I have played a little bit this week, and I played this a bit after we recorded last week, I've been using a controller. No, I've been using the back button attachment. So I went and picked this up earlier in the week. And there it is. So the back button attachment is like this 2-button paddle thingy that you add onto the back of your controller that'll give you the same additional buttons that you would get on like a Pro Controller.
Yeah.
Or equivalent. Yes, it's really straightforward. It plugs into the headphone jack and the external extension, whatever the fuck they want to call it, plug. It's a bit of a hassle to get on because you've got to kind of like crank it without breaking it. I say that now, I can't get it back on. There we go. Done. So the paddles themselves are pretty tight. The what's the word when you press it? Not when you press it, like the initiator switches.
Oh yeah,
that makes sense. So the actual switches are on the tail end of it. So although it feels relatively loose across the whole paddle, it is at the end. So you can't trigger it in the middle. You can only trigger it at the end. Where it sits is actually really good, like really comfy on the controller. Have a go.
Doesn't change the weight of it too much either. Which
No,
is
it's
good.
really quite light.
Yeah, it actually fits really nicely.
Yeah, so you can kind of sit exactly where your fingers need to be. So you find them resting on there. You have a nice responsive click. So there's very limited accidental button presses, which I like. There's 3 profiles on there. Each of them can be any mappable button. The big thing, like this big circle thing being the LED indicator. The LED screen, the OLED screen is literally like small square in the middle. Like it's not the whole thing. It takes up like a 2 centimeter thing, not even that, in the middle.
So it doesn't affect battery life too
No,
much.
I haven't noticed any difference. Like when I was playing Doom, it was really handy to have a jump button on there, so I could kind of get up and scale about. I've not dicked about with it in any other games. I have a feeling that probably work best in like say shooters.
Yeah.
Because that's where you want to have two things on the thumbsticks. I'm thinking about putting it in with like Need for Speed Heat as an example. Maybe like make them the shift buttons and see if I can play the game with manual.
Oh yeah, paddle shifting would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be a good way to go about it. Just because I normally go auto because it's just too much effort to. Because I think it uses the directional buttons as like the shifter, and I don't want to take my finger off
the steering wheel.
But yeah, so it does have a little headphone jack at the front, so it will just simply route the audio through, so there's no disadvantage there. It really doesn't add a lot of weight. It's not for $50, man. It kind of solves the problem of Pro controllers. Like, as we've done here, we've reviewed the eSwap Pro, we've reviewed the Riser Radio, and they're both $300 controllers. They do have additional features that make it more pro. However, the big thing that people want is back buttons.
That's why I bought a scuff, and that cost me $250.
Yeah, this is $50.
Yeah, that's hard to argue with that price.
You really can't, man. Like that's why I was like, I don't really need it. I'm like, well, it's $50. Like, what worse can it do? But no, it's great. So it's 3 profiles, so you can map it there and then. So it's all done via the little dongle. You just hold it in and then scroll up and down on there and pick what you want and go, yeah, thanks. That's it.
Oh, cool.
So like no apps, no programs, nothing.
That makes it easy.
It makes it even easier again because I was thinking that maybe you'd have to go into like the download some app, kind of like the old Pulse headphones. You had to sort of go in there and change the audio profile. Where here it's just not. But the disappointing thing is though, like having it at the back is really fucking weird. Like if the screen is so tiny, which it is, why not put it on the front? Make this a big button, but put the screen at the front. So I can see my profile, I can see where it's mapped. I presume they couldn't because it's an odd shape on the front. So it's not an easy screen space. Like it'd be a custom, it would still be custom, but I mean, a slightly altered size. It's not like a full square or a circle screen space. Well, that's all right. I'm not mad that I bought it.
Shooters are definitely where it's at for paddles.
Well, yeah, seeing as I don't play like Fortnite or Call of Duty or Apex or any of those all that often, I'm probably not going to get the most benefit out of this. But while playing Doom, it was certainly helpful. Because for me, when I remap them, when I add paddles, the paddles are normally X and circle. Like that's it. I don't put a lot of thought into it because and except for maybe like a grenade button would probably be make it an R1. So as you run and shoot, you can just like whip grenades and stuff faster.
Yeah, I think mine is set to X and R3.
Oh, a good stab button. Yeah, it makes sense. Or even sprint, like make them the actual L3 and R3. So that way, because trying to thumb that thing in sometimes can be a bit.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. But mine is so in most shooters, I don't play the default layout. I play tactical. So circle is usually knife, and R3 is usually go prone.
Makes sense.
So the Battlefield controllers
Yeah.
as opposed to Call of Duty controllers.
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of stuff you can do there. $50. Check it out if you want. I thought I'd pick it up, give it a look at here. This is the problem is because we've reviewed a couple of controllers here. It's not new. There's not a whole lot we can talk about with it. It's just like, yeah, it's part of what those other ones did
At a significantly
significantly less price, and it does a good job. Like it delivers what it says it'll deliver. So
yeah,
it's a win. But anyways, that's enough about what we've been playing or playing with this week. Let's jump into the section we call Inform the Plays. We tell you what happened this week in PlayStation.
So
fucking light week this week.
Yeah, slow news week. Two of the stories are wrapped into one. So at the start of the year, with Sony announcing that they were no longer going to E3, they're like, don't worry, we're going everywhere else. But in an update on the PlayStation blog, the company has written today, Sony Interactive Entertainment...
Today as the time of writing.
Yeah, time of writing, which I believe was Thursday.
Yeah.
I believe it's Thursday.
So we're recording on a Saturday.
Today, Sony Interactive Entertainment made the decision to cancel its participation at PAX East in Boston this year due to its increasing concerns related to COVID-19, commonly known as coronavirus. We felt this was the safest option in the situation, as the situation is changing daily. We are disappointed to cancel our participation in this event, but the health and safety of our global workforce is our highest concern. End quote. So all their stuff is still going to be playable. They're just going to not have representatives there, as from what I'm gathering, because PAX has still got all those playable game demos there.
But I think it's losing some of the bigger ones, like people that they're coming with representatives. So the likes of The Last of Us 2 is allegedly playable. I don't think it will be because they will want to have that shit tight. So if that's the case, if they're still going to be there in some sense, it'll be the games that can just have enforcers there running the booths.
After scrapping its plans to attend PAX East in Boston later this month, Sony has also now confirmed that it will no longer be attending GDC, once again citing the coronavirus as the reason why. Facebook has joined the company in skipping the show, while Oculus has announced that its announcements will still take place online. In a statement given to GamesIndustry.biz, Sony stated, "We have made the difficult decision to cancel our participation in GDC due to increasing concerns related to COVID-19, commonly known as coronavirus. We felt that this was the best option as the situation related to the virus and global travel restrictions are changing daily. We are disappointed to cancel our participation, but the health and safety of our global workforce is our highest concern. We look forward to participating in GDC
pretty much the
in
exact
the future."
same quote.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's everywhere. Obviously, people are scared. It's pretty rampant. It makes sense Sony's based in Japan. It makes sense that they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, look,
it's unsurprising. A lot of people are canceling their. A lot of people are canceling.
Dude,
their
it makes
trips.
total sense when there's
like
like 40,000 something bodies that'll go. Look here in Australia at least, PAX Australia, 40,000 people per day. Almost, or over the weekend, one of the two. Either way, fuck ton of people moving through that space, and with something that can be spread so easy like the coronavirus, because it can be spread the exact same way as the common cold. And like, how many times have everyone just gone to PAX, got fucking sick?
Well, not to mention that this year, especially this year, with how busy of a year they're going to have with the launch of a new console, it's why take that risk? Yeah,
it sucks. It does suck from a PR perspective, but saying that. 77,000 plus confirmed cases worldwide of coronavirus, says Dash.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense to skip. It's a shame, but
dude, it's like the right call as a business. But I understand everyone's like, oh man, but like it is the correct call.
Yeah, of course.
You have
to look after.
It does concern me for like back end of the year. Like if this shit isn't controlled by October, like what are we gonna do? Like will PAX Australia have a similar result?
I mean, don't get me state of plays from Dash. I mean, everyone worldwide is working on coronavirus stuff. Hopefully, it's not going to be. Hopefully, they get everything sorted.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
But yeah, there's nothing stopping Sony from, releasing a state of play at around GDC time or PAX
Yeah,
time.
because with PAX East, my understanding there was no conferences. It was just there as gameplay stuff, right? So there'd be some behind closed door stuff, presumably, and that's where the big representative was. But yeah, no, I agree. PAX is fucked. I get sick every year, literally every year, just with standard fucking cold because I get jacked up because I'm running around all weekend.
Yeah, man,
I don't eat properly. I just get PAX pox every year, fucking every year. So yeah, they've made the right call. Because everyone gets sick.
Everyone gets sick.
So fucking gross. So gross.
After me ranting for the last 2 weeks about getting VR headset news, we've finally got some VR controlling news.
Yay!
So it's highly likely Sony will be looking into a new iteration of its PlayStation VR tech, especially with PS5 on the horizon. One recently approved patent goes over some nifty ideas for a supposed PSVR 2, though whether the final product bears any resemblance remains to be seen. Now, yet another patent from Sony, thanks to Upload VR, focuses on virtual reality controllers. The concept for this device is reminiscent of Valve's Index controllers. If you're not familiar with those, they behave much like the PS Move controllers, but they feature a strap, so if you let it go, the strap comes around your hand as opposed to attached to your wrist, so you can hold your hands out and not have the controller fall.
And it's not like a strap; it's part of the shape, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
so what is it? Ones that Oculus use?
Similar. This combined with the multitude of sensors and finger tracking technology makes for much more accurate input, especially for gestures and picking up virtual objects. The drawings also show 4 buttons surrounding what looks to be a thumbstick.
Yay!
So in the drawing, it kind of looks essentially like a handle with finger sensors, so you can
do grip.
So you can do your grip, and then it'll have thumbsticks with 4 physical buttons.
Presumably the sacred symbols.
It's not surprising that Sony is exploring this sort of hardware, and we'd certainly like to see improved controllers for PSVR. The Move ones are not great. They're very old, unfortunately. But are definitely a step behind what other VR companies are producing. We must always remember that patents are never a true indication of what will hit the store shelves. Though, if and when the platform holder does bring out PSVR 2, we would expect the headset and its controllers to look pretty different.
Yeah, so is there any mention on there of how it's tracked?
No.
Like in the patent, is there a light bulb on it?
There is not a light bulb on it either.
So I guess they're just doing like accelerometer-based input. Okay. Well, that I like. I like that already. So one of the things we talked about last week was the problem is when you turn around and you cover your body, it's like, hey, you've covered the fucking light. We're doing your handies right now. Where this ideally would work within 3-dimensional space, like you set it up, calibrate it, and then it knows where you are in space. That seems like way more intense technology, especially with finger tracking as well. Like, there's a lot of kit that's going to be needed for those.
Oh yeah.
Is this what you were after?
Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. I mean, like I said, the Move controllers have been around since PS3, I believe. They're just old.
Yeah.
They were not designed for PSVR, and unfortunately PSVR got designed around the ones.
Well, because we're like so many of these.
Because they're like, they're like, they're already in production. We've already got them out in the wild. Let's use them.
So I do like the finger thingy, because I remember when I first used the prototype Vive controllers, because this is back in the day when like pre-release versions. I really liked how you had to go like properly squeeze to hold stuff, because I remember playing a like some sort of shooting game, and I hold the gun and I slightly let go of the thing, and like, oh shit, oh hang on, gotta properly grip that shit. And I really like that, because like that just it makes it easier to pick up and drop things, because if you play it, either you have to hold the trigger to use as the grip, and that kind of restricts what the trigger's used for, or you trigger it once and you hold it until you press another button, drop it. Like it's less realistic as you can get in a VR space. I'm down with it, and if there's less weird light globy balls, I'm totally in.
PlayStation's Player Celebration. Woo! PlayStation wants to reward you just for playing games. The scheme itself starts on the 24th of February with Stage 1 of the community-driven contest where contestants will need to play a total of 125,000 titles and earn 500,000 trophies. This is accumulative across every PSN member who signs up, and if achieved, unlocks a static PS4 theme and an exclusive PSN avatar. Goal 2 unlocks as soon as those statistics have been reached, at which point players will then need to start 375,000 games and unlock 1.5 million trophies. This goal comes with the reward of 5 exclusive PSN avatars, while the third and final goal, with an exclusive PS4 dynamic theme featuring some of the console's best exclusive games, will require 675,000 games played and 2.7 million trophies unlocked to reach that stage. Better yet, you'll also be able to enter a contest on the 17th of March, which will hand out some fancy prizes to the winners. There's a real-life PlayStation Platinum trophy up for grabs, a PlayStation Store voucher, PlayStation Store vouchers, and codes for numbers of PS4 games. You'll need to sign up for the PlayStation Player Celebration in order to enter, however.
Well, Bulldogs 1992 in the chest says, hey guys, hey man.
Now, this is a new story you added. Where do you sign up for it? It's not in that.
Yeah, you have to go to the blog.
So it's on the PlayStation blog?
Yeah, so the PlayStation blog post, it is a worldwide event by the sounds of it.
I would hope so if they want us to get 1.5 million trophies.
Yeah, so it is a worldwide event. I'm unsure, the Platinum Trophy, I'm unsure whether that's localized. But yeah, just go to the blog, sign up. It goes, cool. All you literally do is sign in with your PSN ID, tick a box, and it goes, yep, you're part of it now.
Okay.
So as we play
So what you're saying is all those trophy hunters need to step up their game so we all get free shit.
It's smart, man. Like, you just hold that. If you had any backlog right now, you hold it. Hold it for a little bit, and then just tear in there. Go in there and just, rip it apart. Because looking at those themes, I want them. I want them themes. So I will do whatever I can, which is very minimal. But I will attempt. I reckon, I was thinking about...
Now's that time to install all those games that you've never played, play them for 5 minutes, get a few of their, intro trophies.
Yeah, bounce.
And then just bounce. Thanks for playing.
Well, that it'll be, I want to do those last couple of tools up trophies. That counts. Almost there. Maybe the platinums are worth more. Who knows? But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's a cool concept, man.
Yeah, it's not a bad way for people to incentivize people to try out new things or to go back to old things that they haven't, especially trophy-wise, obviously.
And on top of that, having it be a worldwide event is awesome. Because remember how last week we were talking about how the idea of them just connecting things on the PSN in terms of sales-wise, for that collective vision across all of PlayStation, how much this is that? I can't this literally encapsulates all of that. Their entire plans around building this big fuck off, PlayStation ecosystem, and this is it. This is unifying the entire player base. No regions, nothing, just everyone with a PlayStation.
It'll be interesting to see how quickly we hit those milestones.
Yeah,
because I think we'll definitely hit all of them. Being worldwide, there's what? How many units out in the world?
108 million.
Yeah, so everyone needs to get one trophy. It's obviously going to happen. It'll just be whether or not, it'll just be a matter of how quick we can do it.
I hope it's days. Hey, we've set this goal. Oh my god, it's done. Because I want those themes. Those themes look beautiful.
And since the news was so slow this week, let's throw in some quick bits.
Yeah!
PS4 was officially announced 7 years ago on the 20th of Feb 2013. Where's our PS5 announcement? I just want some news. Tom Holland has stated that the Uncharted movie will begin shooting in 4 weeks.
Fuck yeah, will
in a few different interviews, he has said it is starting shooting in 4 weeks.
Has anyone announced the new director yet?
No.
Cool.
The official PlayStation forums are being shut down.
That sucks.
It does suck.
Never used them, but that sucks for them.
A Korean cover for Final Fantasy VII has leaked its install size being a meager 100 gig minimum.
Hey, well, look, they stated that it would be on 2 Blu-ray discs, so presumably it's over 100.
Have fun, all those digital purchases.
Yeah, on Good Friday, suck a dick.
And the Essential Picks sale and the Big in Japan sale is now live in PSN.
Essential Picks is pretty cool.
Yeah, I had a look at it.
the big in Japan, I was like, oh, cool. And I had a look in there because I'm hoping to pick up Resident Evil 7 again. I have it on disc, but like we got a promo disc when we reviewed it.
I think I paid like $10 for it last time it was on sale.
Yeah. But
because I bought it just after I bought my VR headset. I'm like, I'm gonna play this, and then I played it for 10 minutes. I'm like, I can't play this.
well, we got it. So we got a review copy of it from Capcom back in the day. But it was the old red. Have you ever seen the red and white discs?
Yes.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, so I got the old red and white promo disc, and I was like, and I gave it to Josh for his stepdad to play, and then it just hasn't come back. I'm like, hey, can you bring it back? He's like, cool, and then he quit the show. I'm like, well, that's just digital. Might as well just buy a digital copy of it. Yeah. Because I didn't want to play it again. It's because I got that. Once I got that, like, from Resident Evil 2, and I went back for my second run, I'm like, yeah.
Have you not finished Resi 7?
No, I have.
Okay.
I think I have. No, I hadn't. I got up to the boat at the end. I was like, that's fucking weird, and I quit.
Spoilers.
Oh, spoilers. There's a boat. It's so vague. But yeah, no, I loved all the house stuff.
It transforms into a zombie.
Oh, yeah. It's on boat. Yeah, the whole house stuff, the Baker family, love it. Loved all of it. And I think now that I'm a little bit more versed on Resident Evil things, I'm super keen.
I think the thing that I like most about Resident Evil 7 is the 3D wall shadow puzzles that you got to like rotate around and line it. Oh, that was so good.
I thought someone just put it in the controller in one direction, like,
just like,
and then it just goes, it lines up and goes, boop. Like, yeah, just let it do it by chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm keen to play Resident Evil 7. I don't think it's on the sale though, which makes me sad. But yeah,
is it not essential or is it not big in Japan?
Apparently neither.
It's a shame.
Yeah, look, I've not picked up anything from either of these two sales yet. It's that weird line of I look at it like, Saying that though, Plague Tale Innocence is on there for $25.
Ooh,
and I think that's the right price point for me for Plague.
It's really good.
It is, but I hate mice. I hate mice so much.
Well, good news. There's no mice in it. It's just rats.
It's so fucking many of them. I know I've said this before. Hey, Justin J. Wood, how you doing, mate? Thanks for coming to the show. But look, it's episodes in the past, I very openly have discussed how I fucking hate rats and I fucking hate mice. I can't stand them.
Okay, so
when they're like, part of our game is we have 5,000 mice on the screen at once. I'm like, fuck you. I don't want nothing to do with that. And then I found out what happens at the end of the game. And I'm like, that's cool.
You don't want to be part of that.
But also, fuck that too. Like, I'm not going to say what happens because I think it's a pretty big thing at the end of the game. But I'm like,
it's so good. So I'm about 4 or 5 hours into it.
So do you know what happens in the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Just for context, I want to make sure that at least you know what I'm talking about.
It's a really good play. And I will probably reference it in our main topic because it's yeah.
Yeah, I think $25 is the right price for me. Now, my concern, I was thinking that I should pick it up physically, so in case I have a fucking panic attack, and then I just I can return it. I'll just return it. It's $25 digitally. I have to see it through. Like, you know, I guess maybe that could be my next thing because, like, right, you know, as we made the challenge that you didn't give a shit about playing Doom, and I finished it finally, and you're like, I didn't even touch it. So at least with this might be a personal challenge to try and get over that. Fear,
I guarantee you I will play Doom before Doom Eternal comes out.
Well, I was thinking it's like a month away, not even.
Shit. Maybe I won't.
It is literally a month away.
No, I'll get onto it.
So yeah, now that I played Doom, I'm like, yeah, I'm keeping Doom Eternal so hard. So hard in the front area. But yeah, there's some stuff in the sales.
But that's it for the news.
Yeah.
It has been a very...
It's like fucking 15 minutes worth of news, which is way tinier than usual.
Yeah, well, normally I've got 3 pages worth of news notes.
You got a page and a bit.
A page and a bit this time, yeah. It was very very shallow.
But anyways, that's enough about the news, Max. Let's have a chat to the players about storytelling versus gameplay. Now, this is when we started the start of this year. So when we did our first little pitch meeting with you and I, we laid out a bunch of topics that we thought would be interesting to talk about. And then one of them was the idea of storytelling versus gameplay. And then with the likes of Dreams coming out this week, which is this essentially the game kind of pits those two together in a weird way, because like with it being a complete game creation platform, people are working in different ways on how to get storytelling across. People some of the games or levels, whichever, are more gameplay focused with minimal story. So we thought let's talk about where we stand on that that line between the two, and it's mostly a filler topic, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because we thought we'd know about the PS5 by now. Really. We honestly did.
So, when we came up with this topic, it was shortly after both of us had finished Death Stranding.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And that was very divisive on its storytelling versus gameplay.
Yeah, because in terms of its balance, like, there is way more story than gameplay.
God, it's an incredible story. And in parts, it did pull me through. Because there are parts of that game, gameplay-wise, that are so slow and tedious. I'm looking at you, Snow Mountains.
Yeah, fuck you, Snow Mountains.
But granted, there is great story in those Snow Mountains because you meet some fantastic characters.
Well, where do you sit on this line? So do you, we can't do a cop out of it's a bit of both. Like, we have to give like a pretty definitive answer.
But that's the thing, though. It is a bit of both.
Ah, boo.
Tetris, arguably the greatest game of all time, has no story. There is no story. There's no story. Oh, the blocks fell from the sky one day and you built. There's no story. There's no
Six
story.
of them represent this different thing in the dichotomy of diversity of culture.
Did you know the L-Shape won best character 1 year? Like, sometimes we play games for gameplay. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we play them for the story. Mm-hmm. It's just what it is. I don't play fighting games for their story. I play fighting games because they are good fighting games.
Sometimes they have stories.
They all have stories. I just don't care. They make no sense most of the time. But a good story can pull me through a game with bad gameplay.
Yeah. I'm going to put it out there and say, for me personally, storytelling is way more important.
I would have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, if push came to shove, storytelling is way more important for me than the gameplay itself.
Yeah, it's like
I could sit there and watch an interactive movie essentially and be happy as long as the storytelling was good.
Yeah, it's like I'm very happy to play like walking sims and shit like that because like if it's a compelling story, I'll forgive that there's not a whole lot to do.
Have you played stuff like What Remains of Edith Finch and all that? Like
and The Ripper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, like that's rad. Like it's these small things, and it's a great story, and you're not doing a whole lot, but it's engaging and it's bringing you forward, and that's what I really love. And like an example of that for me that probably hit home the hardest was like that Dragon Cancer. So that game is brilliant in its storytelling, emotional sense. I was a hot mess while playing that. I was just I couldn't see the screen in front of me from my own man tears.
My own man tears.
But the game was relatively simple in its gameplay. So that was what brought me in. But even with like, I guess a big example of the difference is God of War. The original God of War, the first three were very gameplay driven. Yes, there was a story. The story didn't mean fuck though. Like it wasn't a whole lot to it. But when you look at this new one, like came out 2018, what got me into this game is the story. Yes, it's great. It's backed up by incredible gameplay, but it's the storytelling of God of War that brought it through. And I think that's a demonstration of where games need to head moving forward. Yeah. Is that storytelling. Because if they just did the same God of War again, it would not have done as well as it did. Because it's the story that made that game so fucking spectacular.
Man, I remember when I was playing God of War, sitting in that boat for like 3 hours just listening to Mimir talk.
That's awesome.
So good.
Yeah, I would just piss fart around like that main area just so I could just trigger, idle chit chat.
Yeah. It's as long as the story is delivered well, in most cases, gameplay will not affect my enjoyment of the game. Saying
that though, there are in times that I've discovered games or I've played games where I don't give a shit about the story, and it's very less frequent for me because the story is what pulls me forward. The Division 2, I put like 70 hours into that game, and I never put that much time into those games, but I gave zero fucks about the story. Most of the time, I was listening to music or I was listening to podcasts. I just chipped my way through because the gameplay was that fucking tight. And then using Doom as an example, like this week, once again, no audio. Well, actually, I did because the music's brilliant, but I also didn't really focus on the story.
I find that most live service games are very gameplay driven. It's that loot cycle of getting better gear, getting better everything that is what drives the game, not the story itself.
In the chat, Justin Jaywood, who goes, as a guy who doesn't really play games, I think it's a shame that storytelling games don't have a separate way to consume the story without playing the game. Interesting way to look at it, because there's such a unique, games are such a unique way to tell a story that sometimes the gameplay almost gets in the way of telling that story, depending on the game. An example is, like, I guess kind of like Death Stranding is an example. Like, I'm sure, Justin may love
Death Stranding,
the story of Death Stranding. But when you get stuck on this, it is tedious, but it's also kind of fun. Is like, if you were able to shrink the times that you're traveling to places, if someone on YouTube just put all the cutscenes together, it wouldn't be as good, because I think part of the gameplay kind of helps, but it would at least be this awesome narrative. If that makes, is that sort of what you're getting at, Justin? Also, thank you for the follow, Justin, too. About 13 minutes ago, I didn't notice.
It's it is a shame that there is no other way to inhale that story, for lack of a better.
Because on top of that, like if you think about using Kojima again, I guess because he is such a deep storyteller, is like Metal Gear. Like, I would love to play Metal Gear again because I really enjoyed the story. But then I think about all this extra fluff that I have to do just to consume it all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard when the gameplay gets in the way, and it does, and it can also sometimes take away from the story. Like, if the gameplay doesn't gel with the story, it does make it harder to get through and consume it. So Justin writes back, I'm specifically talking about Jedi Fallen Order, but there would be so many more stories that I'd be consuming if I didn't get motion sickness playing them.
So that's true. The motion sickness is could totally be a problem if someone that may be sensitive to that sort of stuff, especially when they're playing games. Because I know my dad, as an example, he can't play games because it's the sky ground into bombs. So he's not feeling it. So I understand that. But then the same thing with Jedi Fallen Order. Like, the story in it is cool up until the ending. You and I fucking hate that ending. But there are times where literally the gameplay got in the way, because you would get muffed in a section, you'd start it again. And like, you just want to push through the story, but you just keep getting thrown back. Now, so this is where someone like myself, working full time, doing a couple different shows under this company, on this business, then having a child, and like, I only have so much time in the week to play stuff. So these days I play on easy, because that way I will still get some challenge, but I'm mostly there to experience the game and its stories.
Have you noticed,
I'm not there to be decimated.
Have you noticed that? Well, I've noticed recently they're not referring to it as easy mode. They're referring to it as story mode.
Yeah, I've seen that too. But I've also seen story, then easy, and then so. Like, I think Spider-Man has that as well. Like,
or even mode. Like when you hover over easy, it'll say for players who just want to enjoy the story.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to enjoy the story without getting frustrated by gameplay, because there's nothing worse than hitting that brick wall and knowing you can't progress further because either be it gameplay mechanics or lack of time. It's hard to miss out on the story because of that.
Like, I know it makes us probably very ungamery to play it on easy or whatever. Well, me, I don't know about you. But like, for me, that's what I need to do to enjoy what I like about games, which is storytelling.
Well, see, for me, it depends on the game that I'm playing.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm playing a game for a challenge, I will bump that challenge up.
Yeah. If you go with that mindset. Yeah.
But if I'm playing a game for the story, like I played Death Stranding on hard, on the hard, on whatever the hardest difficulty was, because my thoughts for this, my thoughts was, this is a story driven game. This is trying to tell me a story. I don't think there's going to be much combat. I don't think it's going to affect the gameplay too much. Now, there were times where I got jacked real hard in that game, and I honestly thought about dropping the difficulty at one point because I was getting a little bit frustrated at a certain point, and it was checkpointing me really awkwardly. But I pushed through. I'm glad I did push through. And that game is so incredible.
But one thing I really enjoy as well is that this shift in games putting difficulty behind trophies behind difficulty. I understand why, because it's that big argument of these trophies, you should earn them. And by earning them, it's playing at a different level. It's playing at a harder level. And that I understand too. But with games like Horizon, games like Death Stranding, I believe, and games like Days Gone, like there is no difficulty barrier to trophies. I can still possibly get the platinum just by playing on the base difficulty.
I think it's also good for games to have difficulty settings, just as a an accessibility type thing. Because you look at like your Soulsborne games that are just, it is what it is, and if you can't play it, then tough shit, kind of.
Yeah, but the difference with
now, obviously they designed that
they
game.
are designed that way. Therefore,
way.
if it's within the creative, if it's within the creative vision of the developers, like no, this game has no difficulty. It's just this, and it's just hard. Then that is 100% correct. Because that's what they wanted to make. And I have no problem with that. Justin also adds, when I was a kid playing Star Wars on the NES, I could never get past Boba Fett. And I'd have enjoyed the stat story, but the game wrecked my enjoyment. Spot on.
Yeah.
Saying that, though, I don't know what the storytelling of like the NES was back in the day, because compared to these days,
I don't know. I played like Final Fantasy games on NES. Those stories have always been
like Superstar Wars. Superstar Wars kicked my ass all the time.
I'm a massive JRPG weeb.
You big dork.
I nearly pre-ordered Persona 5 Royal.
Oh no! You probably should, man.
Like I saw
Look, I will give you the. I said you can have the platform here to talk about Royal.
I'm like, I saw it. I'm like, I'm gonna do it.
Like, I'm not gonna play it. That doesn't mean you can't.
Yeah, but it's more of a, do I have 90 hours to sink into it again?
Well, if you stop playing fucking Final Fantasy Online, you would.
The answer is probably not. What other good examples do you have where gameplay has ruined your story experience? Do you have any? Where you've kind of got so frustrated in a game, you've just been like, nah? Or is that going to come when you purchase Plague Tale, when you just can't progress through the story because you've pooped your pants too many times?
I'm just sitting on the toilet shitting myself while trying to play this game. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, there has to be times where I've just not pushed forward. Whether it be poor implementation of gameplay, the game not really sort of being clear on where it wants you to go. And I think an example of that, well, it's tough because it's technically like a survival game, like The Forest. I love the idea of that, trying to find your son in this world and surviving, but that is more gameplay driven than story. So it's this weird, I'm like, well, I want to know what happened to his kid, but then I just keep getting fucking mushed by cannibals. How
do you feel about games that implement their story through collectibles as opposed to through essentially like cutscenes and telling you the story?
I think it can be done
take
right.
Like Control, for instance. A lot of the stories comes in the collectibles that you find, the notes, the
big difference with Control is you still get the story that you want through the main campaign. However, what the reading does is it adds lore. It thickens the world.
Yeah.
It makes this world bigger, it's breathing, it's living, and that's what I find more important. Because like there's great to have this sort of like thin veiled story that gets you from A to B, but when you make this world insane.
I think Horizon did the same thing with their collectibles.
Yeah, same as BioShock.
Yeah,
BioShock's a good example. Like all those audio diaries really add to the overall narrative of BioShock.
Do you think it lessens the story if people don't listen to those?
I think it can, and I understand why people are like, I don't want to read. And that's why audio logs are cool, except it's that difficulty of explaining within a story why someone wants to diary everything that they think in terms of a sentence.
I mean, in saying that, though, a lot of people do it, though.
That's true. There's a lot of people that like voice diary and stuff.
Captain's log.
Yeah, Captain's log. It's a tough balance. And like, but it also allows for a lot of exposition that rather than having a character to stand there and tell you. But what's your thoughts on the audio diaries and stuff? Sorry, my phone keeps going.
They can be Look, audio diaries and stuff like that are fantastic as long as they're not too out of the way. Like, I don't want to have to search too hard to get extra information, if you know what I'm saying. Like, put Horizon back on or Control back on the table for an example. They weren't in out of the way spots. They were still along that golden path of going from A to B to finish the story that was laid out in front of you. But it just just enhanced the story that I was getting. It wasn't like, I need to find this collectible behind X hidden walls and whatnot. They were there and easily accessible, so they weren't constricting or like what's the word I'm looking for? Making it more difficult to consume the story.
Yeah.
Or the
like
extra,
a hindrance.
a hindrance, yes.
Yeah, do you have any other examples that kind of fit what we're hitting at here, like gameplay ruining story or but saying that though, story can also get in the way of gameplay.
Yes.
Using Kojima again, like Metal Gear Solid 4, there is a straight up 2-hour cutscene in there. Yeah. Which I enjoyed because I enjoy Metal Gear. But for those that don't enjoy that is like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I think the one that I'm hitting at the moment is Dragon Ball Kakarot.
Yeah.
Because it's following the anime story, it doesn't matter what you do in the gameplay or how well you play. If you're destined to lose that fight, because in the anime you lose that fight, even if you win, you lose.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, well, why did I even bother trying there?
Yeah, why didn't they just animate the fight?
Yeah, why not just it still gives you the condition of you have to win this fight, and the cutscene plays, and it's you losing.
Yeah.
Like, why put that condition in there if I'm destined to lose?
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not a big issue on newer IPs,
but but when you're mirroring another piece of media, whether it be books or movies or TV or whatever, that is an instant issue because it's so narrative. Like the story has to go a certain way. It instantly fucks you if you try to change it.
Yeah, of course.
I'm trying to think of other examples where that would be a thing.
I mean, other examples of games that are just pure gameplay driven. A lot of your farming simulators.
Hey, don't
like, farming simulators are gameplay driven.
I love farming simulators.
Harvest Moon has a story.
It's not very good, but it's there.
But
I love my farming sims. I guess that's that dichotomy. I'm like, story is king.
And then more recently, look at the Call of Duty series that have dropped their campaigns in a few of their later entries, and people are like, where are our single player campaigns?
They're like, hey, we have statistics that say no one played it. Like, yeah, but I did. Like, you're one person, mate. Fuck off.
But it's interesting to see that a game that is primarily played for its gameplay in online multiplayer, that people are still looking for that. I don't know if they're looking for it as a single player experience because they don't like online, or if they're actually wanting a story from it.
Well, I guess it can be done with like Overwatch. Overwatch, although multiplayer and gameplay focused, does have good story about the characters.
Yeah, but they're delivered to us in the forms of animated short films.
Yeah. That's a good point. So it kind of just negates my whole argument. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Blizzard.
Thanks, Blizzard. You're best.
Granted, apparently Overwatch 2 is going to have a story mode.
Don't care.
Just claims how good the story is. Doesn't care.
No, that was from an external, from when people say, like, I don't give a fuck about Overwatch personally.
Overwatch does has a good story, but it is delivered in... piss off, watch.
Who's yelling at you? Stand up?
Get it. Stand up. You've been sitting down
I did this before, and then I didn't get up, and it goes, congratulations, thanks, nice work on standing up. I'm like, I didn't move.
It's
tough. It is a tough balance, and it is about getting that balance correct. I personally would, obviously, in terms of like a percentage, like give me like 60-40.
Yeah, 60-40 is a good split.
Is good. Like give me 66% story, 40% gameplay. Like that's what I would probably want more. Like down the line is kind of boring. Because I find that gameplay can get in the way.
How do you feel about, because this might come up, quick time events?
I don't care.
Because they're essentially gameplay inside the story. Do you think it takes away from the impact that the story is giving you at that time?
No. I think the reason that people there was that argument, quick time events, just because they wanted something to go a very particular way. However, they want you to feel engaged. Cause similar to the backlash of Kojima, who's like, "Hey, you just made a movie in this game. Like, fuck off." They're like, "Oh, we can't have them sit there for 5 minutes and not do anything. They'll get bored because everyone has the shortest attention span ever right now." So they did that as like a, "Hey, you're still there? Hey, which is a problem. I personally I don't give zero shits about as I touch your leg inappropriately. I give zero shits about cutscene. About quick time events.
About cutscenes.
No, yeah, fuck cutscenes. No, quick time events.
Whoa.
I like it. It helps. Sure. Smash that square button or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's fine. Where are you?
They can be an annoyance at times, especially when you get checkpointed just before them.
Yeah.
And then you forget that it's going to happen again, and then you lose. It comes back. They weren't. You've played the old God of War games, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I played all of them.
So how do you feel about the difference between the quick time events in those versus the few that are in the new God of War? Because they are there.
Yeah, there's so many in the old ones.
The whole game was
like everything is quick time events. It's kind of like it's like like one of my favorite jokes about 300 the movie. If you played all those parts were in slow motion, fast motion, the movie's like 40 minutes long. Yeah. I guess it's the same thing about God of War. If they took out all those cuts, they took out all those quick time events, game's like half size. It's just fucking them up. Look, it's a good way to tell a story, but to keep a player involved, it's fine. But where do you stand officially, so we can wrap this bad boy up?
Gameplay. No, story. Not gameplay.
Oh,
story.
fuck. All right.
Always story. Story will always pull me through again. As long as the story is good enough.
Yeah. I completely agree.
I think a game lives and dies with its story.
Yeah. Saying that, though, it is that, I agree, story is what makes this medium unique. But saying that anything can tell a story, but it's what makes games unique and amazing is its ability to tell a great interactive story.
Yeah, being able to put yourself through, into a character, does help. What's the word I'm looking for? Immerse you in the story.
Yeah, well, because it's something like when you read a book, when you watch a movie, it's still passive. Where the full-on engagement that games require is something that nothing else can offer. So even though we're sitting, the debate of story versus gameplay is kind of void because it needs both.
Yes.
But we also need to help with the balance to make it exactly what we need. But anyways, let us know. Let's try that again. Let us know what you think. Is gameplay more important than story? Is story more important than gameplay? What is the percentage that you think it should be? Should it be 64, 46? No, 36.
What an odd number
That
split.
was the point. Where do you think it should sit? Let us know in comments below. But
99-1 for Tetris.
Yeah. Let us know what you think. But anyway, Max, as you pull up the laptop, because it's going to take a second to get in there. There are things that we need in the games playing space, and that is games. I don't know where I was going. That's a real bad segue.
What a great segue.
What a fucking asshole segue. Anyway, this is a section we call Coming to the Players, where we tell you about what games are coming out this week.
So this is the drop. New PlayStation games for February 25th, 2020. Again, this is the US blog, so some dates will change for us. Some might not exist.
As in the game may exist, but may not come out in Australia.
Correct. Bloodroots, PS4 Digital, out February 28th.
Woo.
Bucket Night, PS4 Digital, out February 28th. Coffee Crisis, PS4 Digital, out Feb 28th.
That sounds relatable.
Apparently, Feb 28th is the big day. Diadra Empty, PS4 Digital, out February 27th.
That weeb looking shit.
Ganbar Super Strikers, PS4, PS Vita Digital Cross-Buy. PS Vita's still alive.
Yeah, occasionally here and there.
Grizzland, PS4 Digital. Hay Fever, PS4 Digital.
Oh, God. One of the most relatable game I've ever heard.
Hero Must Die. Again, PS4 Digital. House Flipper, PS4 Digital.
Go on.
House Flipper is a unique chance to become a one-man renovation crew. Buy, repair, and remodel devastated houses. Give them a second life and sell them at a profit. Experiment with interior designs and decorating styles you like. Express yourself. You can buy an empty apartment, furnish it, or focus on repair and installations. Sounds right up your alley.
Yeah, it does a bit. I think I may have to.
Infliction, extended cut.
Dude,
PS4 Digital.
I got an email about this week, and it looks really, really rad.
Wander through an interactive nightmare set within a once happy home. Uncover the heartbreaking mystery hidden within messages, artwork, and other vestiges of domestic life, all while struggling to survive encounters with a relentless entity that stands in the way of finding absolution.
Is that interesting?
Yeah, it sounds alright.
All right, I'll get a code. Let's just play it.
Interesting picture. Guy with a knife.
Someone's about to get stabbed.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection, PS4 Digital and Retail. MX Nitro Ultimate Edition, PS4 Digital, out Feb 27th. One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows, PS4 Digital, Retail, out Feb 28th.
Weebs.
Ritual Crown of Horns, PS4 Digital, out February 28th. Space Channel 5 VR Kinda Funky Newsflash. Sounds like
That does not sound up my alley.
sounds like something you want. PSVR Digital. Spartan Fist, PS4 Digital, out Feb 28th. Stab.
That's up your alley.
PS4 Digital, out Feb 28th.
Stabbing games.
Tempest, PS4 Digital.
Who's got pirate?
2 Point Hospital,
Yeah.
PS4 Digital and Retail. The hit hospital building management sim comes to console for the first time. Design stunning hospitals, decorate them as you like, cure very unusual illnesses, and manage troublesome staff as you spread your budding healthcare organization across 2 Point County.
So quickly, Justin. Hey guys, I've got to go, but good show. I'll check you guys out again. Thank you very much, Justin, for swinging around, dude.
So you're all up. You're going to be all up in the 2 Point.
Oh yeah, I've emailed the local PR company. So wait and see. If not, I'm just gonna fucking buy it because I want to play it.
Vasilis, PS4, PS Vita Digital, out Feb 26th. And that's it.
Yeah, 2 Point House Flipper. There you go, it's done.
Yeah, 2 Point Hospital and House Flipper seems to be the big ones this week.
Anything jump out at you? Just those two, you reckon?
Having seen a lot of gameplay for House Flipper, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll check out. I'll email about Infliction.
Infliction sounds pretty good. I don't know. Maybe I'll jump into Space Channel 5 VR Kinda Funky Newsflash. get some.
Like I am debating because there is. Or did you just read what it was?
It's just yeah. Let me read it out. Dance is your power to protect the Earth against invading aliens.
Of course it is.
Sega's legendary Dreamcast rhythm game Space Channel 5 is coming to VR as Space Channel 5 VR Kinda Funky Newsflash. That's a mouthful. Your task is to master a series of life-saving dance poses while tuning into the cool beat. Experience the return of Ooh La La for yourselves. Yeah, game of the year.
It's a real contender right there. It's a real contender.
Best VR game.
Yeah, I'm very keen for 2 Point. I think 2 Point. Don't you need the spiel?
Yeah, maybe. I didn't on the way up, but we'll see how we go.
Let's see how we go. But yeah, no, 2 Point. Because the trailers for that look amazing with its whole made up diseases and stuff. It really has caught my attention. I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I'm in.
Yeah, I think you'll dig House Flipper too if you do decide to pick it up.
Because it's been on PC for a while, yeah.
Yeah, it's been out for quite some time on PC.
Oh, cool. Well, do I pick it up on console? Yeah, I will.
Flip those houses.
Yeah. Well, because it was like that time that I was playing PC Building Simulator, and then I was like, oh, it's on console now. I'm like, I'll leave it on the PC. I think.
When are you going to start playing GTA with Craig? I'm really looking forward to the.
Oh yeah,
the GTA
I don't know
Buddy
what's
Cop
going on with
series.
that. Yeah, well, apparently the role playing stuff is like really strict. Like we can't fuck around like we want to.
Yeah, no, people take it real seriously.
Yeah, like we'll have to play this regular online as the two of us, which is really tough because a lot of the story is based around being a criminal.
I don't know. Maybe you could join us while we're robbing the casino, and you're like, "Wait, stop!
No,
Put your hands up," and we'll just fly away on our motorbikes, and you'll be like, "Oh man!"
Yeah, that's probably good.
Let's wrap this up. This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Spotify, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you want to join that PlayStation conversation, head on over to our Facebook, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, all the links in the description below.
If you want to join that PlayStation conversation, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures where you can watch us record this show live. And you can join us just like Justin did, just like Dash did, just that other gentleman. Was it Bulldog? Yeah, Bulldogs. Just so you can join us and chat on the show, become involved in the show. It's a good bit of fun. But if you want to share that PlayStation conversation, it'd be much, much loved by us. So just go to your podcast service of choice. Be sure to give it a 5-star rating, or maybe a little bit of review going, "This show is sufficient," and then
This show is sufficient.
And then tell your friends about it. Let them all know about not just this show, as well as our other show, The Young and the Wrestlers, our WWE podcast. If you want to support us financially, because you're awesome and you're very kind, head over to patreon.com/thepopculturist. Support us at any tier. No major rewards right now, just if you want to. You can also buy our merchandise at thepopculture.com/shop. buy shirts, other assorted shit with our logos on it. Maybe it is on sale right now. Might want to wait. Dollar is bumhole. The Australian dollar sucks. Whole bag of dick right now. But anyone else, go ahead, I guess. And of course, as you said, mentioned on Twitch, we'll be doing some gameplay this week. I'm thinking for Thursday, because Super Showdown is the next day, I might do a Super Showdown prediction stream.
Oh, Super Showdown's on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Goldberg versus The Fiend. Goldberg's going to win, just saying. You heard it here first.
It's on Friday?
Yeah, because they do it on Friday.
Oh, because it's on a...
It's on a
Saudi
Thursday,
show, isn't it?
Thursday US time, so we'll get it Friday morning.
Yeah, I forget the Super Showdown's the Saudi show that no one gives a shit about.
No one gives a fuck about.
You reckon Goldberg's going to win?
Oh, yeah. Everyone's going to be so mad at Goldberg, but he can take the heat. Where, like, if Roman... Because from my understanding, the plan is Roman to have the belt at Mania. So, if Roman beats The Fiend at Mania, he'll be booed out of the building. But if Goldberg gets the win in Saudi, because he's a legend, they'll pop. At home, everyone else will crack the sheds. It's the safest way to get the belt on Roman. But that's a whole different podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was For the Players. For the Players, the Pop Culturist PlayStation podcast is fan-supported at patreon.com/thepopculturist. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: AJ Abatomi, Damien Holdies, Kyle Dunn, Lee Wintershoven, Nathan Massetti, Paul James, Pure Mongrel, and Sean Levitt.